Nowadays, more and more web pages are being viewed on smartphones and tablets. Traditional web pages are designed for computer screens, therefore we've got a problem. Our pages don't look very good on a much smaller screen. To offer a consistent user experience, modern web pages are required to be able to automatically adjust their page layout and design to adapt to screens of different sizes. This kind of web page is called a responsive web page. Starting from this lesson, you'll start to feel the importance of HTML and CSS code quality. A clear and clean HTML and CSS code can make your job a lot easier. When adjusting a web page to adapt to a smaller screen, most of the page contents will stay the same. Our main job is to adjust how they're being displayed. In our previous lessons, we've learned that style has been completely separated from the contents. HTML is in charge of displaying contents and forming a page skeleton. The decorating job has been transferred to CSS. Therefore, the essence of responsive web page is applying different CSS to the same HTML code based on a different browser size. The challenge we have is how to detect a browser size. The solution is Media Query. But before learning anything about Media Query, we should first learn a new meta tag, the Viewport Meta. This is how you set it. You set the name attribute to Viewport. Inside the content attribute, we set width to device, width, and initial scale to 1.0. This is the standard Viewport meta. Every program you work on should have it. So what does viewport mean, and why do we set width equals to device width? Well, viewport means the window area of your browser. Device width means the width of your device. This size is fixed. Width means the width of the viewport. This size is changeable. Setting width equals to device width means the default width of the viewport will be as wide as the device screen. You can think of this setting as telling the system to maximize the browser window. In the following lessons, make sure you don't mix viewport width and device width. As for initial scale equals to 1.0, this is to tell the browser not to display everything at their original size. If you want, you can also add another value to the content attribute. User scalable equals to no. This means mobile users can't zoom in or out on our web page by tapping the device screen. Another two commonly seen values are maximum scale and minimum scale. Usually we set both their values to 1.0. This means the page cannot be scaled up or down. After we've laid the ground rules using Viewport Meta, it's time to do the actual work using Media Query. Like we said in the previous lesson, the essence of a responsive web page design is to apply a different CSS to the same HTML codes based on a different browser size. Actually, we need to make an adjustment to that statement to make it more precise. The essence of a responsive web page design is to apply different CSS to the same HTML codes based on different viewport statuses. The most commonly used viewport statuses are width and orientation. Once again, don't mix width and device width. The device width of the screen I'm currently using is 1920 pixels. If I maximize the browser window, the width of this viewport will be 1920 pixels as well. So let's start our Media Query study by proving that. All Media Query follows the same grammar rule. The @ sign comes first, then the word media, behind media a parenthesis and a set of curly brackets. All CSS properties should be put inside the curly brackets. But what are we going to put into the parenthesis? Well, the condition of the viewport. Only the condition inside the parenthesis has been met, so CSS properties inside the curly brackets will be executed. To prove our statement, we first select the body tag and set its background color to blue. Then we put an @ and the word media. Inside the parenthesis, we put the condition, minimum width 1920 pixel. Inside the curly brackets, we select the body tag again, but change its background color to red. This means when the viewport width is smaller than 1920 pixel, which is the device width, the background color of the page will be blue. If we maximize the browser window, the viewport width will be the same as the device width, and the page background will turn red. We can see here the experiment result has proved our conclusion. Next, let's try orientation. Orientation has two values, portrait and landscape. Portrait means width is smaller than height. Landscape means width is bigger than height. Media query allows you to set more than one condition at the same time. For example, if you want the background to be red when the browser width is between 600 pixels and 1200 pixels, then this is how you write your code. You connect the two conditions using AND. But remember, when you're connecting two conditions using AND, you must make sure there is a white space at each side of AND, otherwise your code won't work. You can replace AND with a comma. It only means one condition needs to be met.